Greetings and welcome to the Spiritual Awareness Journey program, a virtual spiritual tool platform where the practical application of all things spiritual in our daily living is shared and discussed by experienced speakers from all walks of life, as well as our special guests who are realized souls called Mahatmas. This hour is brought to you by the Manav Dharam YouTube channel. I am your host, Smita, and we are delighted to welcome you from all around the world to spend the next hour with us as we address this week's topic, spiritual meditation. We are delighted to introduce you to our experienced panel today, our two speakers, Mrs. Audrey Fowler and Murly, as well as our guest speaker, Mahatma Muhibaiji, who will elaborate on this episode's topic, spiritual meditation. They will share their insights with us about what is a spiritual meditation and its importance in our life, while also addressing the spiritual aspect of us humans. We, as spiritual beings, have the ability in this human existence to connect with our original spiritual source, and in doing so, potentially change our lives completely and forever. By becoming more conscious of the two aspects of our lives, the material aspect and the spiritual aspect, we can bring about a balance between our mundane living and our spiritual living. As we learn to embrace both and nurture both, we as a person, in all aspects of our lives, will build a solid and healthy foundation by consciously journeying this human life as a spiritual being, which in truth is who we really are. As it is written in the Holy Scriptures, we human beings are created in God's likeness. And as human beings belonging to this one race, the human race, we each have the potential as a spiritual being to reconnect and unite with our divine origin in whose likeness we are created. And so understand the real purpose, the real meaning of our life, of our journey here on earth. We hope that with all the sharing of our speakers in this hour, we shall feel inspired to know more about practical spiritual meditation and seek to receive spiritual knowledge so we may connect to our own true self. That true self, which in reality is part and parcel of our divine essence. By acquiring spiritual knowledge, we can forge a true connection with our spirit and soul to start our own practical spiritual awareness journey and consciously expand in our spiritual potential. Becoming acquainted with our own divine consciousness, we too will find peace, joy, and purpose in life. And by journeying together as spiritual beings here on earth, in this human existence, reaching our full potential, we can attain our true goal, spiritual enlightenment. I am delighted to now introduce to you our first speaker today, Mrs. Audrey Fowler. Audrey Fowler is a lifelong teacher in the arts of dance and movement, as well as a Reiki master practitioner, and is founder of her wellness company, Conscious Essential Living. Originally from the island of Aruba, Audrey is now based in New York with husband Kenneth and two beautiful daughters. Audrey has been involved in the service of spreading spiritual awareness under the shelter of Sadhgurudev Shri Satpalji Maharaj for over 4 decades, and as an ardent student of truth and a well-wisher to humanity, she feels her true work is only just beginning and is honored to be with us today. Without further ado, Mrs. Audrey Fowler.
Thank you so much, Smita, for the introduction. And sending a warm welcome to all joining the Spiritual Awareness Journey program today. As we are all No, we will address the topic spiritual meditation. We all meditate at a constant. We focus our attention on objects, subjects, topics, activities, families, any events that we need to take, put attention to. We focus on it and until we become acquainted with it. We can even get drawn into it so much so that we can start feeling the vibration of things. And sometimes we say it's good vibration or it's not so good vibration. Science teaches us everything is vibration. Everything vibrates at a constant. And everywhere is energy. We are like the fish swimming in the ocean. We are swimming in the ocean of energy and consciousness. And every vibration, every particle has its own frequency in its own dimensions. And we can synchronize in one way or the other with the variation that can bring a feeling of great connection or not so good. Like if you see a cat with a kitten, you feel good. It's a mommy and a kitten. If you see a cat with a mouse, not so good. So same thing, another kind of vibration is the sunflower. The moment the sun rises, the sunflower focuses on the sun rays. It awakes and it rotates from east to west, where it goes back to sleep as the sun goes down. That's a different kind of vibration. A different other kind of vibration is also music. The vibration that played by the notes, the flowing through space and time from the instrument as music can uplift one or agitate one. It all depends where you're at and what kind of music you hear. So we humans can use our attention to focus on many goals, objects, subjects, family, friends, things. And when we become familiar with it, as we understand it, we can have it become a part of us, like learning to eat, to walk, and talk. Or going to school, you learn the alphabet, you learn reading, writing, math, after school activities, sports and arts, and then after college careers, doctors, bakers, builders, teachers, mothers, nurses, etc. You name it. If we focus, you become it. We master it, it becomes a part of us, and we become it. So we have the potential, the capability, and the capacity to practice, and with the practice, master all things in this world. The amazing thing with us humans is that we have the potential to know and understand our own true self. And that is where the spiritual part comes in. We are not just physical body made of flesh, bones, and blood. We have 10 senses by which we can explore the environment, and we have our own mind. Our mind records everything that we encounter. And whatever we encounter, our mind collects and stores it into our subconscious mind. We also have intellect, we have reasoning power, we have intelligence, and intuition. All help us navigate this life with the one gift that we referred to in the beginning. We are created in God's likeness. And so, by knowing our own self, we too can know which part, that is the part and parcel of the divinity within us. The essence that is the God particle that scientists in Switzerland built a huge calendar to find out what it was. And they call it the Bose particle. This spiritual aspect is another part of us human. If our life is a coin, in the coin of life, we have the mundane side and the spiritual side. Scientists explore the mundane, the manifest, the finite, the tangible expression of life, that which can be experienced by the senses, that has a beginning and an end. This is the one side of the coin of life. The other side of the coin of life is the spiritual aspect. And like scientists, saints, and sages explore the other side of the coin of life. They explore the spiritual aspect, the unmanifest, the infinite, the eternal, the intangible expression of divine, which cannot be experienced by the external senses. For that, we need to go within. Saints and sages say that we in reality are spiritual beings, as they experimented with the inner laboratory of life. They experimented that spirit part of us through their consciousness. Consciousness exists just like energy, and they say it sleeps in the elements, it dreams in the flora, it awakes in the fauna. Because if you see animals like we have pets, they know their name, they know your name, they can follow instructions, so they consciously can do and understand a lot of things. But consciousness within us, it seeks to become conscious of itself. So we human can become conscious of our own consciousness. But for that to take place, we need to live in this human temple. Only a living human being can take this inner journey. A rock cannot do that. A flower cannot do it. Animals cannot do it. But humans are gifted with such gift to be alive and conscious. We can explore the outer world and also the inner world. But without life, nothing can be achieved. Nothing moves. Nothing matters. So, what is that makes us alive? What is that energizes us? By what power do we move? Do we think? Do we feel? Do we experience life? Do we become conscious? By what power do we become conscious of consciousness itself? To explore that, we need to go within. But we need to know how to go within. We need to know by what means we can do such, how to take the inner journey. And here is where spiritual meditation comes into play. To go within, we need to receive the spiritual knowledge, the knowledge of the spirit, the knowledge that has no limitation. This knowledge is one and the same since time immemorial. It itself is the subject, the means, and the object of the meditation. That is the one and the same for all humans, meaning, regardless of your language, your gender, your culture, your birthplace, your education, your status, your achievements, your skin colors, including your handicaps. Be it blind, deaf, mute, or paralyzed, any person can practice this spiritual knowledge. In this spiritual meditation, it is focusing on that basic foundation of the whole creation. And is itself within it? And is it? Some call it divine intelligence, some the purest essence. Others call it divine source, supreme energy, supreme consciousness, the ultimate force, God, the living word. So many ways to address this same it. By being one and the same, by this energy, the whole creation is manifested out of nothing. And so to go within, we need to receive this initiation, these tools and techniques by which we can connect our external mind and bring it back within, from focusing on the external world back inwards to our inner self, our own source, that God particle, that essence that when it is within us, we call it the soul, we call it the self. And present within us, we say the person is alive. And so, and when the person is alive and well, then we can communicate with the person. But when it leaves, we say the person has passed on. And we make arrangements to take care of its remains that was once so loved and we hugged and we treasured by all of us. But in reality, we loved and hugged and treasured the person, the soul that was abiding within the body. So to truly love and know ourselves, our person, and anybody else, this self, we do need to know it. We need to know how to reconnect. We need to know how to go within. And this spiritual meditation will accommodate this journey. See, we humans can co create from already existing anything. From water, earth, fire, wind, we build villages, bridges, and towns, and we change societies. We build ships, airplanes, and trains, planes, and we travel the world. We invent new things by watching nature. But unless we ourselves are alive, we cannot enjoy any of it. Also, anything that is built to move needs a battery. A ship needs a battery, a plane needs a battery, a train, a car, inclusive radio, TV, laptop, and tablets, and cell phones all need their inner battery to be turned on, to work, to be charged. Without this inner battery, even if you plug it in the main source, none will be activated. Similarly, we humans have this inner activator, the soul, invested within us. It activates us, it makes us alive. But unlike the batteries, we, by becoming acquainted with our own soul, this part and parcel of the supreme energy within us, we experience that omnipresence, that omnipotence, that omniscientness of God, of the divine essence, of the divine source. And that is light, love, peace, and bliss. This is spiritual meditation. So, by receiving the knowledge of the Spirit, we can then start our spiritual awareness journey and practice that spiritual meditation that is one and the same, meaning the subject of meditation, the means of meditation, and the object of meditation is one and the same since time immemorial. This spiritual knowledge can be imparted by a yearning, pure heart to wish that wishes and has a deep need to reconnect with the source, to belong, to understand where we came from, who we are. And the only through spiritual living master that himself is walking the spiritual path through the realized souls called Mahatmas can impart this spiritual knowledge to a sincere seeker. And we, by practicing this spiritual meditation, go and have our spiritual inner awareness journey. And we, by practicing this meditation, we can achieve our purpose of life. All scriptures say that God is light and in him there is no darkness. By being full with this divine light, full with this love, we each can reach our final destination, spiritual enlightenment. So I hope I give a little bit of what my understanding is about this life, that we have to have balance between the worldly life and the spiritual life, and that by receiving the spiritual knowledge, we can achieve that. So deep gratitude for the opportunity to share this with you. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your journey, and thank you for your presence here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Audrey, for your beautiful thoughts. As you rightly said, this human body is a temple where the energy that keeps us alive resides. To know that energy, that power, to become conscious of it, we need a spiritual knowledge and a spiritual meditation. And this can be attained by any person, as you said, irrespective of our religion, our beliefs, or our culture. So thank you once again, Audrey. Our second speaker today is Murly. Murly lives in Argentina with his wife and daughter. He is a Reiki master. He teaches a yoga classes which include the physical, mental, philosophical, and spiritual aspects of this discipline and has been doing this for the last 40 years. He has been practicing spiritual meditation regularly for the last 43 years. Joining us all the way from Argentina, South America, our second speaker of the day, Murly.
Thank you, Smita. Thank you so much. And with this topic, spiritual meditation, we have already heard Audrey with her beautiful words. Spiritual meditation, uh, we need to know perhaps first why we should take up meditation. And I will try to give my thoughts about this. Being a young man, I was trying to be happy like anybody else. And I did so all around in my life. I didn't know anything about spiritual teachings, but my experiences left me quite hopeless. Hopeless to find lasting happiness. I also thought about freedom, not only happiness, but I thought freedom was a great value in life. But I also found myself unsuccessful. At some point, I came across spiritual books, spiritual teachings. Those teachings, through those teachings, I knew what they said about the spirit of man, that in our true essence, there is something which is ever existent, ever conscious, ever true joy. And was also, this spirit was also perfect love, peace, wisdom, and so on. Most importantly, the teachings said that the direct experience of these attributes is possible for man. Was uh, impressive for me because I recovered hope. When we want to be happy, naturally what we do is to look for it in things, people, places, relationships, activities. But our experience shows us that as much as we struggle, in the end, we always end up in disappointment or frustration. Dissatisfaction is the ultimate end of all activities or our search outside. So, with these teachings, I knew that the only way to find true happiness, true freedom, was going inside, within ourselves. And they also said, the teachings said, not only to find true joy and total satisfaction, but also to know ourselves, to know our true nature, this spirit. Because we look outside, I could say we are looking in the wrong direction then. At that time, I heard a story that I'm going to share with you now. This story is well known, maybe you heard about it. It's about an old lady looking for her key to her house. A man walking down the street reaches a light lit corner where this crouching lady is uh, looking for something on the ground. So he comes to her and asks her, "Ma'am, can I help you?" The lady says, "Yes, please, young man. I lost my key. Can you help me find it?" So the man bends down and starts the search. But after a while, nothing happened. He couldn't find anything. And comes again to the lady, "Ma'am, please, are you sure you lost your key around here? I can't find it anywhere." And the woman said, "No, I lost the key in front of my door, but there is no light there." This is ridiculous. It's funny and ridiculous. But in a way, it's very similar to what we do in our lives, in our search for happiness, because we look only outside. So these teachings give me the hope and also the desire to go inside. Next thing I knew is to go inside, to go within, and to find this. The best tool is meditation, spiritual meditation. We have to know who we are, because we think that we are this limited person. We are this limited person, but it is like a diamond covered in mud. A diamond is brilliant and it's hard, but we cannot feel this hardness, we cannot see its brilliance when it's covered in mud. The thing is that all we have to do is remove the dirt, and all the brilliance, the splendor, and the hardness of the diamond will be exposed. So, this diamond is our true self, and the mud is all our false identifications. Is what we think we are, but we are not that. And to find out, we need to go inside through meditation. Naturally, if we understand this, we will want to meditate. For meditation, for learning meditation, we need techniques and guidelines, instructions. Any true seeker, every true seeker can find these techniques through a spiritual teacher, a true spiritual teacher. A true spiritual teacher is one who has fulfilled this ancient aphorism. I think Socrates was the one who said, "You shall know thyself." Know thyself. Anybody who reaches this point, who attains self-realization, is a true spiritual teacher, and he can give us the techniques and the instructions. Personally, I was fortunate to find such a spiritual teacher 43 years ago. Since then, I've been practicing meditation on a regular basis. Okay, this is why we should practice meditation, saying just a few words about it. Now, what is meditation? What is to go inside? I can also describe briefly something about this. Even if you don't have techniques, or if you have, either you use the techniques or not, these are principles to be followed. Spiritual scriptures, Indian spiritual scriptures, describe the mind, or the way consciousness manifests in us, in four main aspects. One of them is what we call memory. Another one is the intellect. Audrey already mentioned something about this. There is a third aspect, which we can call identity. And the fourth aspect is consciousness itself. Well, memory is the storehouse of all impressions received, gathered through past experiences. Intellect is this function, this faculty we have to reason, to judge, to analyze, to qualify. Identity is, well, sometimes called as ego, is simply the what we think we are, these false identifications. And consciousness itself is our true nature, the supreme intelligence, the dimension where all divine attributes are. Those divine attributes mentioned before: joy, love, peace, wisdom, freedom. What we do in our lives normally is to function with our memory, our intellect, and our identity. Of course, we are conscious, but we mostly use these other three. When we say what is meditation, what is to go within, what we need to do is to keep our attention away from memory, intellect, and identity. We have to leave this aside for consciousness to reveal in its purest state. There is a lot we can say about this, but it's enough for now to just mention these points. Practice of meditation is actually what will give us the benefits. If we hear about meditation, if we read about it, will not help us. The practice is the only thing which will give us what we want, will give us true lasting joy, and will give us a more deeper known knowledge of ourselves. Through meditation, through my practice of meditation, I can say that many things happened in my life. Many things happened. First of all, I came to know true peace for the first time, true peace of mind. I began to find meaning in life in a way that I never had felt before. Life has a meaning, and through meditation, we understand it. I began to be truly happy because I knew that it was possible. By touching the joy within, I didn't need anymore to go outside looking for it. By touching love within, the need for being loved reduced. We know that the more we need to be loved, the less we are able to love. Faith and devotion also increased through meditation, and my yearning for spiritual feelings increased. I understood through meditation that it is me who has to change, not the world around me, not the people around me. And this is very important. It was for me, and I understand that it is for anybody. We tend to believe that we can be happy changing circumstances. Circumstances have a lot of effect on us. They affect us. But through meditation, a new capacity develops not to be affected by these circumstances, being pleasant or unpleasant. In this way also, we reduce likes and dislikes, and we become more free. Through meditation, a greater sense of self-worth develops, and also clarity of mind. And clarity is very important because with clarity we know what we have to do at all times. And this is also something that grows with meditation. I say again, we need to understand why we should meditate. We need to find a true spiritual teacher who can give us the instructions. We need to practice, and the results will come. This is my experience, and I have a strong conviction that all the problems and difficulties that mankind face can be solved through the practice of meditation. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Murly, for sharing your personal experience with us. As you rightly said, in our search for peace and happiness, we look outside, whereas the real peace and happiness can only be found within. The diamond, which is our true self, is shining within, but we can only see its beauty by clearing the impurities which are covering it, by practicing spiritual meditation. So thank you again, Murly, for your inspiring thoughts. It is our pleasure now to continue with our next presentation today, a music ensemble, the Gujarati youth team, all the way from Gujarat in India, singing for us the devotional song Sanctuary. so much to the youth of Gujarat for this beautiful and heart-touching presentation of a sanctuary. We now move to the third part of our spiritual awareness journey program with our special guest speaker, Mahatma Muhibaiji. We are honored to have her here with us today. Mahatma Muhibaiji is a realized soul, an enlightened saint from Haridwar in India. After completing her academic life with a master's in political science with honors, she took up the profession of a teacher. But soon she realized that her calling was elsewhere and became an earnest disciple of spiritual master Sri Satpaji Maharaj, who is the founder of Manav Dharam Seva Samiti. Since then, Mahatma Nirmohi Baiji has been rendering services to the Samiti through satsang, spiritual discourses, and imparting spiritual knowledge to the seekers of the true name of God. She aspires to motivate everyone who comes into contact with her to lead a life of spirituality and progress towards self-realization. Let us all welcome Mahatma Nirmohi Baiji with an open heart and mind and benefit from her enlightening discourse. Mahatma Nirmohi Baiji.
His Holiness Sri Maharaji, all dear respected parents and brothers and sisters watching and listening this virtual spiritual awareness journey program. And just now we all heard the very insightful words and experiences from both the speakers, very well said, and about the spiritual meditation. Actually, meditation is an inner process to enter into the spiritual world, to realize the self, and to move forward, to grow forward, to realize the supreme self within ourselves. And it's been practiced by all the true seekers since from the ages. So for these, three things are needed, that are meditator, meditation, and to meditate on. Meditator is a practitioner, a person, and meditation is the process, it's the technique and the means, and to meditate on, that we all gain, that we can gain through spiritual knowledge. But nowadays, meditation has become a very common word, and almost all the people are practicing for certain merits that it has, to get relief from the stress, to get relief from the anxiety, for relaxation, for concentration, to stabilize the mind, and for focus, and so on. So it's good to have this all, but the actual, this all, these are the three stages that are explained in the Ashtanga Yoga Sutra, which lead towards dhyana, means the dhyan, which has the very greater and very highest purpose or the meaning to attain enlightenment, for salvation, for liberation. And originally, it developed as a method to search within, to quest within. And really, meditation helps us to unlocks it, the hidden treasure that we have inside our human body, that is the spirit. And so all the prophets, all the great masters, really, propound this meditation a process to go inside, to search inside. As Lord Buddha, when he attained the enlightenment after spiritual meditation, so one day he was going somewhere and a shepherd boy asked him that, are you God, or are you angel, or are you deity? And he answered, I'm not this all, but I'm awakened one. Because through meditation, he has reached that level of consciousness, that super conscious state of super consciousness, and that level of understanding. So after that, he preached the middle path. He preached the middle path means not to go extreme. That if we have the guitar, not tie the string of the guitar so tightly that it breaks away, or not loose. Let it loose so loosely that it won't produce the sound even. So we have to keep it very balanced and in a middle way, so that the guitar can produce a very good sound, very good music that soothes the mind. That soothes the mind. In the same way, this, the concept that preaching has been initiated by the living master Sri Guru Maharaji as to bring the balance between the worldly and the spiritual life. So dear friends, it is possible for us to bring the balance, to live the life as a spiritual being living in this world, fulfilling our all obligations, all responsibility, all kinds of duties in the family, in the community, in the society, and to being a spiritual person, leading a spiritual life. So it is possible that we have to understand through this kind of talks, through this kind of discourses, that we get the clue that to lead a very spiritual life while living in this world. So, but what happens that while living in this world, we so much engrossed in worldly, mundane places only that we forget our spiritual essence. We forget our spiritual nature, just like a musk deer who smells a very good fragrance. So in search of the source of that fragrance, he runs in the forest, but not knowing that the source of that fragrance is in his navel. In his navel, but not knowing, he runs here and there in the forest, and finally he dies out of ignorance, not knowing the reality. In the same way, living in this world, that we became, the people became very much extrovert, all the sense organs, all the minds are so disturbed by the external, the factors, external circumstances and the situation that we face in our daily life. It really disturbs our mind in some way. And we really disconnect ourselves from our inner, self. To connect ourselves with that consciousness, with the supreme self. So the process is through the spiritual meditation. Through meditation, it is possible. Just, a person bought a clock and hang in the wall, which has the sound, the tick-tick sound. And but day after tomorrow, he didn't hear the sound. So he got the clock and checked. And then his son came there and asked about the detail. And what he found is that in the room, all the doors, all the windows were open. So all the noises that are coming in from the street that are hindering, that is disturbing him to listen the subtle sound of that clock. And so his son started closing all the doors, all the windows, and when there is total silence in the room, then he starts listening to that subtle sound of that clock. So in the same way, so living in this world, we forget our something that is, the hidden treasure that is within us because of the outer, disturbances. So to bring back our mind to that primordial vibration within that, life force. For that, we need the meditation is very, very important, which brings our mind from extrovert to the introvert to go inside, to have the spiritual experience in this life. So, actually, the meditation is also regarded as the inner journey also. Inner journey, which starts from the body to mind, mind to intellect, and to the soul. So our physical body is comprised of 5 sense organs, 5 working organs, together 10. And in the 11, there is mind. And in the 12, there is intellect. And in the 13th stage, there is soul. Now the journey starts from the body. When we sit in meditation, we sit in some very comfortable posture, closing our eyes. And with due practice, we can sit for a longer time with due practice. With daily practice, we sit in the meditation. And we close our eyes. And now we enter inward. And there is the mind, which is fluctuating, which is wavering here and there, which is imagining so many things, which is unstable, but we stop. Now, how to stable, how to control the mind here, the process, the inner process of meditation that is initiated by the living master to us. When we slowly, when we start meditating the holy name that is resonating within our brain, slowly, all our, mental disturbances are there in varied forms of thoughts will decrease slowly, and then a practitioner or we who practice the, meditation reach that level of thoughtless state of mind where there is all cessation of all the thoughts. Cessation of all the thoughts. Then, in that moment really, we experience something great, something really, it is possible if we practice sincerely. We practice within something uncomparable, really we can experience within that state of mind, which is called a peace of mind. So many names are there. In the 11 is now the thoughts, 12 still there is the intellect. Intellect means there is the I-ness, me, mind, that is intellect which is full of, let's say the ego. Now how to remove the ego from ourselves, from the intellect? The simplest, the way to remove the ego is through devotion, is through service to others. It's the very simplest way, dear friends, dear all the seekers. If we surrender ourselves in devotion to the Almighty, to the Living Master, and when we do service, with selfless service, we do, then slowly a person become egoless. And then we we enter into the realm of soul, spirit. Soul that is the subject of universal life, which is truth, consciousness, and full of bliss. And it manifests in many varied forms. We go through varied kinds of experiences. It depends on the practitioner, on the person, how far he wants to go, how extent he wants to go in within. It depends on our, practice, on our devotion, dedication also. So realize the spiritual nature of our self within through spiritual knowledge, that soul that is manifest, that is already within us in the form of celestial music, that is called the divine music. Celestial light called the divine light, holy name and the nectar. Every soul has that divine quality within us. And this experience we can gain through spiritual practice, spiritual knowledge. So these all, the inner experiences are, expressed by a great mystic saint of India, Saint Brahmanandaji in this following lines. It's very beautiful. I would like to share with you all that how we can experience within. He said like this: I see wonder within. I see wonder within. There is well of nectar within ourselves. It is talking about within ourselves, within our inner dimension. There is well of nectar. And a person, armless, legless, without a ladder, climbs to drink the nectar. I see wonder within. I see wonder within. Without ground, there is palace full of light. A blind sees, losing his bodily sense. I see wonder within. I see wonder within. Without playing an instrument, there is unstruck sound. The divine sound is going on. A deaf hears with bliss and ecstasy. I see wonder within. I see wonder within. A person gets a new birth. A person gets a new birth. And a real and very wise and enlightened person can understand the meaning, the hidden meaning of this, verses. So we are very much lucky enough that in this life we have got this knowledge, got this spiritual knowledge to sit within, to search within ourselves. So before doing the practice of meditation, in the initial stage, the satsang or the discourses or the talks like this, spiritual talks are very much needed. It really inspires us when we share, when we hear this kind of experiences of others. It triggers our mind. Just like if a person, describes about a very beautiful place of that very beautiful scenario, natural scenery to us, then it really, inspires us to go and visit there, to see there. In the same way, when we hear this kind of experiences in this kind of, the spiritual method to practice in our life, then it really inspires us to know and to dive within. So we are very, very much lucky that we are doing the meditations, and for this, constant practice is needed. Constant practice is needed. We have got this knowledge as a seed form. Seed of knowledge is shown in our hearts. Just like if somebody sow a seed in the ground, after sowing the seed, what is needed is to look after the seed. We have to water the seed in time. we have to give the good condition, a good environment, good atmosphere, and then only that seed germinates, sprout, and turns into a big, tree, big plants, and give us the fruits, flower, everything. In the same way, the knowledge that we are inserted in the form of seed, it can sprout, it can germinate. We have that experience when we do practice of that holy name, of the divine life, the process to go to drink the nectar, and the process to listen to the holy music within us. For that we need the daily practice very, very needed, constant practice is needed. And just like we eat the food and we drink the water for our body, so for the soul we have to do meditation is very, very required in our daily life, which really enrich our life, extend our vision, extend our life, expand our consciousness. It's really true, but we experience when we practically do it in our life. So we are all very much lucky to get this spiritual knowledge and the process of spiritual meditation, which really leading our life from illusion to truth, from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge, from death to immortality. So I would like all who have, got the knowledge to practice constantly the meditation every day. And we have to invest, we have to spend very quality time for meditation. It is like a spiritual diet to which enrich, which we can grow in our spiritual walk in the spiritual path. So we are all very much lucky to get this kind of opportunity in our life. And so with this word, I'd like to conclude my talks. And the songs from the Gujarat youth team is very much good. It's very much well sang by all the groups. So wishing you all the very good and very happy and healthy life. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mahatma Muhibaiji, for your enlightening thoughts. As you beautifully said, meditation helps us to unlock the hidden treasures that we have within, and it is possible for us to choose the middle path, to have a balanced life in this world while also living a spiritual life. By acquiring the techniques of spiritual meditation from the spiritual master, by practicing sincerely on it, it is possible for us to experience this inner light and nectar, to have inner peace and happiness. Thank you once again, Mahatma Muhibaiji. As we conclude the program, we wish to thank you for your presence here on our Spiritual Talk platform. We hope that you have enjoyed today's episode. Please feel free to drop us a note with your comments. And if you have any questions, please email us on the email address in the chat box. Feel free to send us your questions, and we will make sure to address them in our next Spiritual Awareness Journey program, which will be held on the 10th of April 2021. Episode 6 will be on the topic spirituality and nutrition. Till then, wishing you a healthy and peaceful journey. Thank you to our sponsor, Manav Dharam YouTube channel. I am your host, Smita. From all of us, thank you, keep well, and see you soon.